Here with Lena of Infected Rain to talk about their latest record. Time is out right now on all streaming platforms, every place that you can listen to quality music. You can find Time by Infected Rain. How are things going with you? It's been a while since we talked.
It's all good. Busy times, a lot of releases as of lately. I've been pretty busy last year recording for 2 albums, Infected Rain and a side project I recently joined, and all the music videos and almost 100 shows that we played last year. Yeah, busy times. I mean, right now that we are finally releasing everything that we've been working on, it's very rewarding on the human level, and of course very satisfying on an artist level, to see the reaction of people, to engage with some of the people. It's a pretty interesting moment in time.
And speaking of moments in time, have you taken the time to reflect on the 6 albums, on everything that you've done with Infected Rain, and how that journey has been for you from the debut record all the way until now?
Yes, actually, as a matter of fact, I did, and it's very interesting mix of emotions that go through my mind, my soul, through my body. It's I'm very proud of Infected Rain, and I'm very proud of the musicians, and in a way, it's probably the one and only thing that I've been super proud of about myself. And I'm not necessarily proud of the achievements themselves, but I'm proud about one very simple thing that is quite complex. How we never gave up, and how stubborn we were during this path, and how much work we put into this. I'm proud of us because we had many reasons and many situations in which we didn't know if we're going to continue. For some situations that are not connected with the band, some situations that are connected with us as human beings, you know, it's quite a challenging job over here to do this, you know, and yeah, I'm proud of Infected Rain for never giving up. And now the result and the achievements, that's a bonus. But just in general, I wish that this could set a good example for a lot of artists out there. And no matter what you come from, no matter what language you speak, and what gender you are, no matter what you know, your color skin is, nothing matters. What matters is never giving up and working hard. And I believe we've done that so far, very like without stopping. So that's the strongest feeling that I have while reflecting on all these years and all these albums.
And you guys had a little bit of a lineup change coming into this record. Did that have a negative impact? Did that have an impact in terms of how you approach the creative process on this album?
Not at all, actually. Alice joined the band while we were quite finishing with the composing process already for the album. She was there for a very small part of it, but she did not take part of any composing process as of this album, because she was way too new. And of course, we wouldn't try to put that so-called burden to on the shoulders of a person that is so new to this, you know, and so new to the band. She did, however, record partially the album bass. I mean, not fully, probably a little more than half songs on the album. We were getting ready for an upcoming tour. We were getting ready for filming, and we wanted her to get ready for that stress-free. And so I don't know how it's going to happen in the future albums, but this album, just like all the albums prior to these ones, are collective effort of the musicians of Infected Rain, main composer being Vidic, the guitar player, like he always was from the start.
Did you have a vision of what you wanted Time to be, and how did you work from that vision towards the final product?
So we didn't have an actual plan or vision before we started composing, and we took our sweet time with composing. We never really like to be there under pressure and give some deadlines to the label, for example, or other people that work with the band. We kind of just started going in the direction of, okay, let's see what we have, because we put ideas down all the time, and we just like, let's open these folders and notebooks and see what we have, where we are at, and what we should work on. So we slowly started working in the direction of composing. It was after, you know, our lineup changed, but of course not at all close to finding a new member and announcing it publicly, so no one knew. And as a band, it was just the three of us. It was me, Eugene, and Vidic that sat down, rolled the sleeves, and just went with the emotion, went with what we wrote down throughout, you know, the past year, and maybe even older stuff. I know I have older stuff for sure. I don't know about them, probably too, you know, because when you constantly put your ideas down, eventually that folder becomes bigger and bigger, and even you, if you mentally forgot about that piece, you come back to it. It is the same for me lyrically. So we didn't really have a vision or a plan. However, sometimes around I don't know, 3 or 4 songs being already in place and being already in their, let's say, rough version, but still, okay, so this is pretty much how the song is going to sound like, what it is about. It's going to be called this way. You have an idea already and certain things already put together. We already there somehow started thinking about the name for the album and the direction we want to go for. Another thing that was not really planned with this album was the fact that this is a conceptual album. It's a global album that has one major theme, and then of course others things that are not as big. And that was interesting because I never thought we were capable of doing that, to be honest, because we never did that before. And it was never on purpose. It was never like, it was just never came out that way. And this one came out that way so easily and so naturally, especially when we already like chose the name, and we were already thinking, okay, maybe we already like were working on the ideas for the few music videos, and everything was quite coming along together with such ease. So we knew it's meant to be. And slowly, even though I have songs that are about something different, like songs about love, songs about self-growth, so songs about more global problems that we are facing every day, and that they still somehow all together tied into this global meaning of time, because it is probably the only thing that we all think to know so well what it is and how it works, but actually we don't know anything about it. We really don't. We keep making mistakes and not learning from the past, and or not you know, becoming better. And it's quite interesting. All of us, including me, you know, like we all make mistakes, and the all the songs I write them mainly for me. So that gives you an idea about how I make certain mistakes. I see where my mind goes certain times, and I want to bring that to the surface through my music, through my art, for myself in the first place, and hopefully to guide some people and or inspire some people in life or in music or in art.
You know, you mentioned the overall arching concept idea of this record. I gotta say this. I've been listening to you guys from the beginning. This is the first album where I found that you guys really created an album. Like I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like the
Yeah.
other records had a feeling more of a compilation where great individual tracks, but they never really gave me this sense that I'm in an album and I'm listening to this album from beginning to end. I don't want the experience to be finished. I don't want to walk away from it. I just really want to feel like I'm going from point A to point B. What do you attribute to that very mature growth just from an album design standpoint? Does that come from the concept, or do you feel like that comes from
I
something
think
else?
there's many factors. First of all, thank you so much for following the band's career for so long. And trust me, every time when we create an album, even though it's not a conceptual album and every single song is its own individual, I know what you're talking about. You're very right. And you like the song separately, but you don't know how you feel about the entire album. And of course, I love every single album I've created with Infected Rain because I'm a big fan of my band. And I think that this time with this album, it is very obvious that it is a vision of less people, because when a lot of people are involved in creating process, this is what you get. You get songs that sound completely different and separate, and they are awesome, but they have nothing to do with one another. You know what I'm trying to say? And I'm not trying to say it is the fault of those people, but I am, however, bringing to the attention of the listener, of the fans, or other musicians. Having too many hands in a cookie jar often is not a right thing to do and to go for. Really, it really is that way, and I could feel it when Eugene and Vidic together were creating this album. I could feel their freedom. I could feel that they are fearless, not afraid to be judged, not afraid to be denied. They were in such a symbiosis together, and it was so obvious even to me, and I know them forever. I know Vidic since I'm 16. I know Eugene since 2012. I believe is when he joined the band. It's a lot of years of spending together as a band, as musicians, and as friends. And I know them on certain personal level to come to that conclusion. And it's very shown here, very. I'm not saying it's not correct to get the input and the idea of all the musicians if they are creative that way. But if they are not creative that way, you should never force them. You should never expect certain things from them. You know, for example, in the beginning, with my first and second album, I wasn't really composing vocal melody because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have experience. And with the first album, it was not expected of me to compose. So my musicians would compose vocal melody for me, and then together we would apply the lyrics that I composed, because I've been writing since I was a child, teenager, and that part was easy for me. That part was natural, let's say, for me. Then with second album, it was a little bit expected from me because like I was already in the band for a while and this and that. It was so difficult for me. Eventually, I knew I had to arrive to this by myself, and eventually I had to find this courage in myself for composing melody for music. I always thought that I'm not capable of it. I always thought that I'm not a musician, so I shouldn't even try. I don't know music notes, and I've never studied music. I shouldn't even try because I'm gonna make a mess. But music is a lot about feeling, a lot. And yes, you have to have some knowledge in music, and with time I am learning. But it was not until almost the third album that I finally felt braver to, and if that's a word, to just go for it. And with each album, I felt stronger and in a way more secure about my level of preparation as a vocalist, and more secure and more I would accept it more between me and me, even the fact that, hey, there's nothing wrong with trying, and try everything. If it's gonna feel right, we will leave it in the song. I was always afraid that I'm not good enough, and I still am, but surrounding myself with the musicians that I have in the band and my vocal teacher helped a lot. They made me more courageous when it comes to composing, and they wanted to see what my input will be here. And if I made a mistake, like, they will tell me, hey, musically this doesn't go together, but it's a great idea. What if you try this way or something? It's all about how you approach people, because you can approach people saying, better don't do that. doesn't come out. Like, of course, the person will be like, oh shit, okay, I'm never gonna try that again, I guess. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful that my band encouraged me that way, because it helps me so much to be in the zone of creativity and trying and putting that emotion that is in the lyrics, the emotion that made me write about those lyrics, put it in the melody. And it is so different because, of course, no one else will know that emotion better than the person that wrote it down, the person that went through that. So of course, I'm gonna see this specific part of the song being this way because I want to deliver that, you know. And but again, that doesn't mean anything. There's so many talented musicians out there that don't even compose their own music. There's nothing wrong with that.
But it does give you that extra emotion that comes across. And I gotta say, outside of the design of the record, the other thing that really impressed me on this album was your clean vocals. I think this is the best you've ever sounded on any record with any band, with any project. I was, and this doesn't mean I didn't like the harsh vocals, but I just mean that your cleans really blew me away. How proud are you of your performance when it comes to those clean vocals? How much emotion are you able to transport with them on this record? And how much of that comes from working with Melissa Cross?
Everything, because everything comes from working with Melissa Cross, not only for the obvious reason of technique and preparation when it comes to vocal aspect, but and I say that a lot. I don't think people understand how important it is to feel confident. I am not a very confident person, even if I might seem that way often because of how I approach the stage or how I am in certain music videos. I really am not. I am working on that every day. And when it comes to specifically vocals, Melissa is probably the only person on this planet that made me love my sound, my own sound that comes from here, from this machine that I'm using. She made me embrace it and love it and understand it and just be proud of it. Specifically with this album, I can tell you a small story that I did mention in a couple of interviews already, and for specific people on Patreon that follow me. In the late 2022, in December, I had a surgery that I had to do when I was a child, and it was never taken care of. I was born with big bad tonsils that impacted my health throughout my entire life. I was diagnosed with chronic angina, I have heart issues, and I even have a disability when it comes to that, because it went worse and worse throughout life. Stress doesn't help, other factors don't help, not enough rest doesn't help. So eventually I wanted to get rid of them, and I never had the right moment or time because of the tight schedule with Infected Rain. However, when we were going through the changing the lineup in also late that year after touring, way before, as I said, way before we chose the new musician and we chose what we are going to do in the future, I asked my musicians to give me a little bit of time to take care of this as well, because I've noticed it giving me more problems on stage. And so I did. And for those of you who don't know, tonsils are not quite close to the vocal cords. However, they are in your throat, and it is the same muscles that connect and get swollen, and you have to take a break from even speaking for days, and then of course from singing for way longer than that. It is a quite brutal recovery for an adult. It's way easier on a child. So I am very sad that I didn't take care of that long ago, but I did now. Certain things, life and whatever was in the way. My parents were not sure if it's something that they have to really get rid of, or if it's essential to have. So after recovering, for the first like rougher time of recovery. During the recovery, I was in touch with Melissa Cross, and I expressed to her my fears and my doubts into how I'm going to sound after. I told her that I was terrified how my voice is going to sound, because I read a lot of interesting stories online, and a lot of people do say that your voice might change a little. Anyways, I was quite paranoid and in that state of healing and, still not being able to talk. She helped me so much when I was allowed to speak and begin with my vocal training again. She was there for me. I had so many vocal lessons with her via Zoom, and she taught me a lot about the new techniques that she's learned throughout time, new maybe tricks that she's heard from other students. We share things like that with her all the time. And most importantly, she encouraged me, and she told me constantly that she thinks my capacity and my vocals sound even better than before. And I first thought that maybe it's a first impression, because I did give my vocal cords such a big rest time. And I thought maybe it's just a first impression that we have. But me, myself, I started feeling more stamina when it comes to like the sound itself, not where I can go, note by note with my vocal cords, but the resonation of the sound itself. In a way, believe it or not, I feel like I have more room in my mouth, in my throat, in my entire machine for this to resonate stronger, And of course, eliminating something that was constantly causing me to feel down, and eliminating something that was constantly causing some sort of infection in my body, affecting my heart, was so much more important than I even realized, up until I got rid of it and I started feeling better. I have more stamina, I feel better, I breathe better. And breathing is one of the most important things in the vocal, but when you use your vocals as an instrument. So believe it or not, I do strongly believe that made a difference. But of course, not alone, together with Melissa Cross and her help, her believing in me and making me hear what she hears. She often would say that, hear this, hear that, this is fantastic, this is what I wanted to do all the time, and this is that, and this is, she helped me feel the sound instead of just, learn the techniques and go by technique. She wants you to feel, and that's one of the key elements that I've learned from her, with her, because of her, thanks to her. So that's what I'm trying to apply.
Well, you did a phenomenal job on this record. I don't want to take any more of your time. This album is by far my favorite Infected Rain record. I know it's called Time, but I think it's going to be timeless. So you guys did a phenomenal job, and your vocals, my goodness, I had goosebumps. A song like Pandemonium, I had goosebumps listening to that track. Just absolutely phenomenal job. I'm dying to hear you guys live. Please, next time there's a tour, talk to somebody. Make sure you play a Toronto show, please. We need you guys north
We
of
are
the
doing
border.
the best. I promise. We really want to come to Canada very much, especially after not being able to do that 2 years ago when we were planning to. It was in our tour dates, but complications with visa due to COVID restrictions and so on at the time. So we are hoping it's going to happen soon. Trust me, there's such a big fan base in Canada. I hope we can go there soon and even visit, So thank you so much for having me. Thank you for your kind words.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. Thank you for taking the time on your busy schedule to chat with me. Once again, Infected Rain, Time. The album is out. Go buy it. Go pick it up. Best record you guys have ever done. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a beautiful day.
You too. Take care. Bye.
Bye.